Okay, let me tell you about this whole nightmare with my neighbor. It started out so good, you know? Finally bought my own place, my little slice of suburban heaven. Found this house, perfect backyard, the whole reason I bought it, really. Spent months, maybe even a year, planning this pool. Worked with contractors, dealt with the endless permits. Surprisingly, the HOA wasn't too bad about the initial pool approval, just had to jump through their hoops. But finally, it was done. Sleek, modern, nice wooden deck, landscaping just right for privacy. My sanctuary, man. My escape after long days grinding away at my design job. First weekend it's finished, beautiful late spring afternoon, warm sun, perfect. Invited a few close friends over. Laughter, splashing, just happiness. Felt this huge sense of pride, you know? Like, I built this. I earned this. It was exactly the kind of moment I'd worked so hard for. Sun starts setting, painting the sky all orange and pink. We're all chilling, having a good time. Then I see someone walking up to my backyard gate. Excused myself, walked over. It's this older woman, maybe late 50s, early 60s? Perfectly coiffed hair, floral dress that looked expensive, carrying this big straw tote bag like she was headed to the French Riviera, not my suburban backyard. Hi there, she calls out, waving like we're old pals. I opened the gate a crack, cautious. Hello? Can I help you? She stuck out her hand. I'm Karen, live right next door. Big, bright smile. Been meaning to introduce myself. Life gets busy, you know. Just wanted to say welcome. Okay, friendly enough. Shook her hand. Thanks, Karen. Nice to meet you. I'm Mike Thompson. Her eyes immediately zeroed in on the pool behind me, and her smile widened, maybe a little too much. Wow, that's some pool you've got there. Absolutely gorgeous. The kids must just adore it. I smiled politely back, feeling a little awkward showcasing it. Thanks. Yeah, just finished it. Really excited to finally enjoy it. She stepped a little closer, lowering her voice like she was sharing a secret, though her tone was still loud and breezy. You know, she says, leaning in slightly, my grandkids are staying with me for the summer. Poor dears have been complaining nonstop. Nothing to do around here. I was thinking, oh, they'd just love to come over and take a dip sometime? Cool off. Okay, red flag. Caught completely off guard. I just met this woman 5 seconds ago. My pool, the one I poured my time, energy, and a significant chunk of my savings into? It wasn't exactly a community center. The whole point was privacy, my own space. Sharing it with strangers, even neighborly grandkids I'd never met, felt wrong, uncomfortable. Well, Karen, I started, trying to be diplomatic, find the right words. I really appreciate you asking, but I built the pool mostly as a private space for myself, you know? Kind of my personal retreat. I'm sure you understand. I tried to keep my tone light, apologetic. Her smile flickered, just for a second, but I saw it. Then it snapped back, maybe a little tighter this time. Oh, I get it, she said, her voice a little higher pitched now. Private space. Right. But you know, good neighbors, they help each other out. Share resources. And it's not like I just dumped them here unsupervised. I'd be right here, the whole time. You wouldn't even notice we were here. Yeah, right? A knot started forming in my stomach. I hate confrontation, really do. But this felt like boundary pushing right out of the gate. Again, I appreciate the thought, Karen, I said, trying to keep my voice steady, but I think it's best to keep the pool private for now. Just for me and my close friends. I hope that's okay. The cheerful facade cracked completely then. Her smile vanished, replaced by a cool, almost appraising look. Of course, she said, her tone clipped. Just thought I'd ask. My late husband, bless his soul, always used to say generosity was the hallmark of a good neighbor. But I suppose, she added, a distinct chill in her voice now, times have changed. Oof. The passive aggression was thick enough to cut with a knife. I felt a wave of guilt, exactly like she intended, I'm sure. But I stood my ground. Thanks for understanding, Karen. It was nice meeting you. She gave a tight-lipped, almost imperceptible nod. You too, Mike. Enjoy your evening. She turned and walked away, the friendly neighbor act completely gone. Let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Man, that was uncomfortable. Glad I set the boundary, though. Rejoined my friends, tried to brush it off. Quirky neighbor, I mumbled when someone asked who that was. A bit forward. Didn't think much more of it. Figured that was the end of it. Boy, was I wrong. Over the next few days, weird little things started happening. Nothing major, just odd. Early one morning, sipping coffee on the deck, same spot as always. Looked over towards Karen's place. Saw her standing at the edge of her property, right by the fence line. Just staring right at my pool. Didn't wave, didn't acknowledge me when I looked over. Just stood there for a solid minute, like she was surveying enemy territory, then turned and walked back inside. Creepy. Told myself I was imagining things, reading too much into it. Then came the trash cans. Came home from work one evening, found my recycling bin tipped over, plastic bottles and cardboard scattered across my driveway. Annoying, but could have been the wind, right? Except it happened again 2 days later. This time, both the trash and recycling bins were overturned, garbage everywhere. Looked deliberate. Couldn't prove it was Karen, obviously. But the timing, right after our awkward pool conversation, felt too coincidental. Started feeling uneasy, like I was being watched, targeted maybe. The final straw, the point where I knew this wasn't just my imagination, happened that Saturday morning. Perfect sunny day. I was inside, folding laundry, windows open to catch the breeze. Heard splashing, heard laughter, coming from my backyard. Froze. Heart started pounding. Rushed to the back window, peered out. And there they were. Karen. And 2 kids. Must have been the grandkids she mentioned. All 3 of them in my pool. Karen wasn't even swimming. She was lounging on one of my deck chairs, big straw tote beside her, sunglasses on, looking perfectly at home. The kids were splashing and yelling, having a grand old time. I saw red. Didn't even think. Just stormed out the back door, letting it slam behind me. My voice was firm, controlled, but loud enough to cut through their fun. Karen, what do you think you were doing? She looked up, feigning wide-eyed surprise, though the slight smirk gave her away. Oh, Mike, didn't think you'd mind. The kids were just so bored, and it's such a hot day. I figured, a quick dip wouldn't hurt anyone. My patience completely evaporated. Gone. Karen, I told you explicitly this pool is private property. You cannot just come into my yard without my permission. You climbed my fence again, didn't you? You need to get out. Now, her expression hardened instantly. She stood up slowly, deliberately. She said, her voice taking on that venomous edge again. My late husband, he always said this property line wasn't quite right. Always told me this part of the yard. She waved vaguely towards the pool area. Used to belong to us. If anything, I'm the one being generous here, not making a fuss about you building on land that isn't even entirely yours. I stared at her, dumbfounded. This was a whole new level of crazy. That is absolutely absurd, Karen. I have the official deed. I have the professional survey done before I bought the place. This is my property, every square inch of it. You are trespassing. Leave now, or I am calling the police. She gathered her things deliberately slowly, grabbing the kids' towels, which also looked suspiciously like my towels. Her face was a mask of indignation, like I was the bad guy here. Fine, she snapped. But this isn't over, Mike. You'll regret being so selfish, so unneighborly. Mark my words. She herded the grandkids towards the fence, the one she'd apparently climbed over twice now, and they scrambled back into her yard. I stood there, shaking, watching them go. A wave of anxiety washed over me. This wasn't just an awkward neighbor anymore. This felt like a serious conflict brewing. Her threat. This isn't over. What did that even mean? What else was she capable of? Little did I know, this pool dispute was just the beginning of a nightmare that would test everything I had. Woke up the next morning feeling like I hadn't slept at all. Karen's threat. You'll regret being so unneighborly. Just kept echoing. Was it just an angry outburst, or was she serious? Hoped for the best, prepared for the worst. That afternoon, the first hint arrived. Certified letter in the mailbox. Urgent stamp. My stomach dropped. Opened it right there on the curb. Official notice. Lawsuit. Filed against me. By Karen Peterson. Claiming partial ownership of my backyard, including the area where the pool was built. Demanding legal recognition of her right to use the space. Accused me of encroaching, violating her supposed easement rights based on nothing but what her dead husband allegedly told her. Heart racing, read it again. Unbelievable. Based on hearsay? No proof. Just sheer entitlement turned into a legal weapon. Frustrated, but weirdly determined now, I immediately called Jessica Miller, the lawyer who handled my house closing. Thankfully, she remembered me and the property details. I explained the situation, the initial request, the trespassing, the pool incident, Karen's claim about the property line, and now this insane lawsuit. Jessica listened patiently, asked sharp questions. "Okay, Mike," she said finally. "This is outrageous, frankly. Filing a suit based on anecdotal claims from a deceased spouse? Highly irregular and likely frivolous. But we need to take it seriously. Bring in your deed, the survey you had done, the HOA pool permits, any photos or videos you have of her trespassing, everything." "Got it," I said, feeling a bit calmer just having her on my side. "You think we can fight this?" "Absolutely," Jessica reassured me. "If your documents are clear, and I remember they were, she doesn't have a legal leg to stand on. This sounds like pure harassment because you didn't let her use your pool. Let's gather everything and put this nonsense to rest." Over the next few days, I compiled a mountain of paperwork. The deed? Clear boundaries. The professional survey commissioned before I even bought the house. Confirmed those boundaries, showed the pool well within my property. The HOA permits? All approved, all in order, based on those same boundaries. Added the security footage of Karen climbing the fence, lounging by the pool, yelling threats. Every piece confirmed, I was 100% in the right. Meanwhile, Karen seemed to be emboldened by filing the suit. Started lingering near my property line again. Not trespassing, just watching. Standing there, sometimes talking to other neighbors, gesturing towards my pool. It felt calculated, like she was trying to intimidate me, maybe build her case by swaying public opinion. And the petty harassment started again. Garbage cans tipped over. Mail delivered soaking wet. How? One afternoon, found her yappy little dog, Princess, digging up my newly planted azaleas in the backyard. Chased it back to her yard, saw Karen watching from her window, smirk on her face. Decided right then, more security. Installed another camera, this one covering the side gate where she'd climbed over before. Felt ridiculous, turning my home into Fort Knox because of one entitled neighbor, but felt I had no choice. 2 weeks after the lawsuit notice, Jessica scheduled mediation. Try to resolve it before court. Met at a neutral office downtown. Me, Jessica, Karen, and her lawyer, sharp suit, looked bored already. Mediator started, asked for our sides. Karen went first, laying on the faux concern thick. Not trying to be difficult. Family property. Late husband always said, just want what's fair. Made my blood boil. My turn. Jessica presented our case calmly, confidently. Showed the deed. Showed the certified survey. Showed the HOA permits. Left no room for doubt. Karen's lawyer tried poking holes. Survey could be outdated. Jessica countered with certified county verification. Karen pulled out that laughable hand-drawn map again. Jessica pointed out its complete lack of legal standing. By the end, it was obvious Karen had nothing. Mediator basically told her so, diplomatically. Encouraged her to drop the suit. Warned her about legal fees if she lost in court, which seemed inevitable. Karen's face hardened, but she reluctantly agreed to think about it. Left mediation feeling cautiously hopeful. Maybe reality had finally sunk in for her. Wrong again. A week later, another notice taped to my door. This one from the HOA, claiming a new complaint had been filed against me. Unauthorized construction. Karen, unable to win the property line fight, was now trying to attack the pool permits themselves, accusing me of building without proper HOA approval. My stomach dropped. I had the approvals. Called Jessica, frustrated beyond words. She's relentless. Okay, deep breath, Mike, Jessica said calmly. She's desperate. You've got the permits, already approved by their HOA. We'll respond formally, shut this down too. But this pattern of behavior? It actually strengthens our case against her if we need to pursue damages for harassment later. Tried to stay calm, but it was getting harder. Felt like I was trapped in this endless cycle of Karen's vendetta. Every time I thought it was resolved, she found a new angle, a new way to make my life miserable. Started feeling like a prisoner in my own home, constantly wondering what she'd do next. Sitting on my deck that evening, staring at the pool that started it all, I felt exhausted but also defiant. This was my home, my sanctuary. I wouldn't let her win. Little did I know, the battle was about to take an even more dramatic, more dangerous turn. Karen's next move would push me to my absolute limit. The HOA complaint about the pool permits, bogus as it was, still had to be dealt with. Jessica drafted a detailed response, attaching copies of the original permits, the approval letter, everything. sent it off to the HOA board. It felt like swatting flies, annoying, persistent, but ultimately just a distraction from the real issue, Karen's harassment. Life settled into this tense holding pattern. Karen wasn't actively trespassing anymore, probably spooked by the potential legal fallout from the mediation and the HOA complaint backfiring. But the hostility was still there, thick in the air whenever I saw her outside. She'd glare, mutter under her breath, make passive-aggressive comments to other neighbors loud enough for me to hear. I tried to ignore it, focus on work, enjoy my home. But the constant low-level stress was wearing. Started having trouble sleeping, felt jumpy at every unexpected noise. This woman was poisoning my peace. Then came the note, taped to my front door one morning. Different from the official-looking HOA stuff or the lawsuit papers. This was personal. Jagged handwriting. Angry words scratched onto a piece of notebook paper. You might have fooled the HOA for now, but the truth always comes out. Enjoy the pool while you still can. No signature, but I knew exactly who it was from. A chill ran down my spine. This felt different. More direct. More threatening. Took a picture, sent it straight to Jessica. "Okay, Mike," she said, her voice serious this time. "This crosses a line from petty harassment into potential threats. We need to document this with the police immediately." I filed another police report, showed them the note, explained the history. They took it seriously, filed it under the ongoing harassment case, but again, without fingerprints or witnesses, proving Karen wrote it was tough. Still, having it on record felt important. Things escalated again a few days later. Came home one evening, found my mailbox stuffed with anonymous letters. All stuff, accusing me of being a fraud, a liar, destroying the neighborhood. Another time, found my trash bins overturned again, garbage deliberately scattered across the driveway. Petty? Yes, but also deeply unsettling. Someone was actively trying to make my life hell. The final, terrifying confrontation happened one chilly November night. Settled on the couch, reading, trying to unwind. Suddenly, my security system app buzzed, motion detected in the backyard. Pulled up the live feed on my phone, heart pounding. Froze. Karen, inside my yard, near the pool, holding a can of spray paint. My mind raced. What was she doing? Watched in horror as she started spraying large, erratic letters onto my beautiful wooden deck surrounding the pool. Couldn't make out all the words in the dim light, but saw things like thief and not yours. Didn't hesitate. Dialed 911 immediately. "This is Mike Thompson," I said, voice shaking but steady. "I have a restraining order against my neighbor, Karen Peterson. She is trespassing on my property right now and vandalizing it. Please send officers immediately." Police arrived within minutes. Caught her red-handed. Literally spray can still in her hand as she tried to scramble back over the fence. Watched from my window as she argued with the officers, voice loud, shrill. "This isn't trespassing," she shrieked. "That pool is on stolen land. I'm taking back what's mine." The officers weren't having it. They knew the history, had the restraining order details. They placed Karen in handcuffs, read her rights, escorted her to the patrol car. Seeing her finally, definitively, being arrested, her defiance replaced by shock. It felt like the climax of a terrible movie. Relief washed over me, mixed with a profound sense of disbelief that it had actually come to this. The fallout from Karen's arrest was swift and decisive. The vandalism, combined with the clear violation of the restraining order and the history of harassment, meant serious legal trouble for her this time. Jessica assured me the criminal case against her was strong. A month later, I attended the court hearing. Karen's lawyer tried arguing emotional distress over the property dispute made her act out. The judge wasn't buying it. Karen was found guilty of vandalism, criminal trespassing, and violating the restraining order. Ordered to pay restitution for the deck damage, cover all my legal fees related to the restraining order violation, undergo mandatory counseling, and slapped with extended probation. Any further violation? Immediate jail time. As the judge read the final decision, Karen sat silently, her face pale, finally looking defeated. Leaving the courthouse that day felt like emerging from a long, dark tunnel. The legal battle was over. Karen was facing real consequences. My property was safe. In the weeks that followed, I had the deck professionally cleaned and restored. The ugly spray paint vanished, leaving no trace of Karen's final act of malice. The neighborhood seemed to collectively exhale. Karen, facing probation and counseling, became a recluse. Her house went up for sale a few months later. The day the moving truck pulled away felt like Liberation Day for the whole street. Life slowly returned to normal, or a new normal. The experience left scars, no doubt. A lingering wariness, a reminder of how quickly peace can be shattered. But it also taught me resilience. Taught me the importance of standing my ground, documenting everything, seeking legal help when needed. Sitting by my pool now, watching the sunset paint the water gold and orange, it finally feels like my sanctuary again. Peaceful, safe, mine. The fight was exhausting, something I wouldn't wish on anyone. But knowing I stood up for myself, protected my home, and saw justice prevail, that's a peace worth fighting for.